You're listening to Moviesucktastic.
Sounds like some bad movie.
Oh my god. Setting up the audio video every week is it's like some fucking bad movie. I'm so tired of it.
Oh, don't stop complaining, sir. Welcome to Moviesucktastic. The one complaining is Joey. I'm Scott, and we're here to review Phantasm 3.
Yeah, great.
This is part of my my bid to fill in all the holes and years in which we've reviewed films, and we didn't have any films that were from 1994. And originally it was going to be Return of the Living Dead Part 3, but I was mistaken on the year that was made, so we made a last-minute call and switched over to Phantasm 3.
Correct. What in the cock and balls? I can't get. I don't have your video. I don't understand why.
Uh-oh.
What the actual shit?
That's okay. Don't sweat it.
Well, I don't want me to be the only one on the screen the whole time.
Okay. Anyway, so we're reviewing
Why?
Phantasm 3.
Oh, wait, here you are. I found you.
Hi. Hello. So let me ask you, Joey, this review was kind of out of left field. We're just kind of filling in holes in the years. We haven't reviewed the first two Phantasms, but they're pretty notorious. Have you ever seen this one before?
No. And not only have I not seen this one, I've never seen the second movie.
Aw.
I've never seen it. So it's one of those things where I'm watching this and I'm like, this probably would have been better if I watched the second movie.
Well, you're in luck because the opening montage pretty much sums up the first and second film.
It really, I was like, at least I was happy that it did that, because the difference in the first film came out, 79? Second film came out 81, 82? And then it was like theater. 10. Really? You saw Phantasm 2 in a theater?
Oh, yeah.
And couldn't have come out in 82 then. Maybe. That would have made
No.
That would have
late
made
80s.
Did
it was late 80s.
It came out in late 80s? Like 88? Oh, I think it came out in 88.
There you go.
I think it came out in 88.
And so this, again, so they're kind of going every decade, let's do a new film.
Yeah, they even did one in 2016.
Mm-hmm. Phantasm 5.
It's just called Phantasm Ravager.
That is the fifth one. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. And now, one thing I do want to approach is that usually we try to pick films that had a theatrical release, and this did have a very, very limited theatrical release.
That's all that matters.
They were originally planning on releasing it theatrically wide. That's why they changed the name. That's why they changed it to Phantasm Lord of the Dead, because they wanted to. They didn't want to scare anybody away if they hadn't seen the first two films since they were so old. But they had a theatrical release in, I think, Japan, and it did at a bunch of horror cons and festivals. They showed it. So it did get theatrical runs before it came out direct to video.
All right.
I'm just defending it.
Well, here, Phantasm 3. And again, it just needs to have it could be in one movie theater. It counts.
Yeah.
It counts. That's how we were able to review Freaky Farley. that I believe he's a Boston-based or Massachusetts-based filmmaker, and he had his film. It had like a premiere and everything, and it was in one theater in like Boston or somewhere in Massachusetts, and we reviewed it because it counted. It was because we've been sometimes a little lax on theatrical releases,
and as we get more and more into the world of streaming, I think it's going to become more of an issue.
Yeah, I mean, back then when we reviewed Freaky Farley, we were very strict about it. It's like, it's got to be in the theater. Got to be in the theater. It's the way the format works. And
it's
it
so
wasn't
easy to find a bad movie.
Yeah,
it's so easy to find direct-to-video bad films. We want to set the bar high.
Right. It did have a limited release in the United States on May 6, 1994. So it counts.
Okay, good. All right. I didn't even realize it had I didn't even realize it had an American one. I thought it was just a Japanese release.
May of 1994, cool. May 6th, limited. It counts.
Yep. So as we touched on with Joey's confession about not having seen the second one, the first two films are wrapped up very neatly in the beginning, and they also use it as a chance to replace the lead actor for Mike, whose name is what was it again? Michael.
He played
Michael Baldwin.
Played Jody in the film.
No. Mike is the kid.
Mike is the kid.
Yeah.
I thought the guy in this movie was him grown up.
It is, but he's the kid. That was what I'm saying. Is like Mike is the kid from the first film.
Well, it's actually him grown up, right?
Right. What I'm saying is, in part two, they replaced him with a different actor.
Oh, see, I didn't see part two. I'm like,
I'm
glad you're explaining it, because I'm like, what are you talking about?
I was trying to get there. Yeah.
Sorry, it's my fault.
No, it's cool. He was the part two didn't have him. They wanted somebody. They got some beefcake guy instead. But when they revived the series again, and I help me with the name. I always get the name wrong. Don Coscarelli.
Don Coscarelli.
Am I saying that right?
Yep.
Coscarelli. There's no Italian. There's no Italian edge on that, right?
Come on.
No, I'm just asking. I'm trying to be faithful to it.
I mean, sure, I can say it. I can give it that inflection if you want. Would you like that?
Yeah, what would it be? Yeah, what would it be?
It would be Don Coscarelli.
Coscarelli. Oh, so just rolling the L. That's it.
Coscarelli.
Coscarelli. Oh, you're just putting an accent on it. Okay.
Coscarelli.
So it's like sometimes they have the names that like are pronounced differently than they look. This one does not. All right, just checking.
This one is Coscarelli. It's pronounced as it's spelled.
So he's the writer-director of the films, and he was able to he wanted to bring back Mike for the series once they did this. So this was his vision, and
he's
what
directed.
A vision it is.
Yeah, it is. He's directed all of them except for the fifth one, which was interesting to me. I don't know why he just didn't do it himself, but I guess maybe he's not interested in it anymore.
Possible, or maybe there was a contractual thing where they wanted a different director in order to get funding. Who knows?
You don't know. But, the fifth film...
I didn't look into it. Because we're reviewing the third one, so I didn't check into it.
Well, I know. But the fifth one looks pretty because it's 2016. It has modern special effects. Probably everything that they really wanted to do always. And it's just there must be something with either the studio or Don, just like, you know what? We don't want him, or I don't want to do this. This is a terrible script. Something, because maybe Don wanted to write it, and they said no. We got somebody else.
And he's not a bad director.
No,
but he's definitely not Scorsese.
No, and the best reviewed thing he's ever done was Bubba Hotep.
Oh yes. 5 stars.
5. Everybody loves Bubba Hotep.
Oh, of course. How do you not? How do you not? If you don't have a soul, man. That's pure soul there. Anyway. So but Phantasm 2, Phantasm 3 takes place after the events of Phantasm 2. A little time has passed, and Mike has been in a coma. but he wakes up after having some visions, and he meets up with Reggie, but then all the tall man stuff starts happening again.
Yeah, and
and
Angus Scrim.
Angus Scrim is the tall man. Yeah, classic. Just
like the
thing
he does with his eye. It's awesome.
Love it. Boy.
It's like if he didn't have speaking lines and he wasn't in a horror film, this is the guy that you would get to just stare at children in the movie. Like he would be like the creepy guy in town, and he'd be like, "Off." You wouldn't have to say "Get off my lawn." He just looks at you.
So if you haven't seen either film, it kind of introduces you to the idea that the tall man is this weird entity that travels from town to town and kills all the people in the town and steals their corpses to turn them into little Jawas for their home planet or dimension, wherever they're from.
Right.
And there's a lot of, and there's one of the hallmarks of the Phantasm series is dream sequences and dream sequences within dream sequences, and then fake dream sequences afterwards, negating the previous dream sequence. And it's like in each film is like an episode of Lost, where they pretend to explain things, but then at the end you just have no answers and just as many questions. Even when they do explain stuff, you're like, well, but hold on, no. and then they'll do something that doesn't make sense in that context too.
Yeah, no, 100%. What I was getting Rowdower vibes. Rousdower, not Rousdower vibes from Reggie. He's in all of the movies, but just his delivery in this, and again, haven't seen the second one, so I don't know if he did it in that too, but it's very kind of low key. It's like, oh man, like almost like he's thinking out loud.
I'm convinced that he's not acting. I'm convinced this is just how he is in real life.
Probably
because he pulls it off beautifully. Yes, he is like that in the second film too. And I mean, the first, he didn't really have as much to do in the first film. He really had a lot more to do in the second and third films. And I myself haven't seen the fourth and fifth yet. I'm glad I was able to revisit this one. I did see this when it came out.
I'm gonna have to go back and watch the second film, even though I don't have to. I want to now.
I've seen the second film a dozen times. I love part two. I even have the promotional button on my wall. This summer, the ball is back.
Yeah, it was one of those sequels where they said, "Wow, the sequel is better than the first one." I don't know because I've never seen it, but
no, I wouldn't say that.
But
it's a flawed film. It's a very flawed. They're all flawed films, but they're so inventive, and he really sticks to the imagery. And I mean, it's just it's a cavalcade of weirdness with enough blood and gore, especially in this third one. They did themselves well here. Just like the absurdity of the flying orbs that drill into the head.
Oh, did they call? They called them Sentinels, right?
Only in this film.
Only in this movie.
Yeah. They don't. I read that I haven't seen the other ones, but I read that they created the names, calling them Sentinels in this film, and then never used it again.
Okay.
so
well, of course.
I'm still calling them orbs.
That's fine.
That's just me. Now in the second one, and I know we're not talking about the second one, they had 3 different orbs. He had like 3 of them, and they each did different things. It was every film they try to have the orbs do something new and different. In this case, it's when the gold orb shoots out of Scrim's head, and then it has the things that come out the side. Wacky stuff besides your normal burrow into the head and squeeze the brains out. Beyond the typical.
Got it.
Yeah.
I mean, now in this film, the orbs did a bunch. Like they all kind of just did. It's like Swiss Army orbs. They all kind of did different things.
Yeah. Which they do that. They up the ante each film that I've seen. And now the third main character. Well, actually, there's 5, but there's 2 ancillary characters. Screw them. So Reggie is the friend of Mike. And Mike's uncle, I think uncle. It's a little fuzzy, but Mike Jody was Mike's brother, and Jody is killed off in the first film at the end.
Right.
And they actually show that part, because that's how he's like killed off in the first film is when Reggie's telling him, no, your brother died, remember? It's like, oh, yeah, what the fuck? Yeah, mind fuck of a film. So they bring Jody back in this film, but Jody is actually one of the orbs.
Gotten an orb somehow.
Yeah, he's in an orb now. The tall man must have grabbed him and put him in an orb.
But he can morph out of the orb into human form. He says you can't touch me though, or some shit like that in one of the scenes.
Yeah, so I'm assuming it's more of like a hologram or a projection, which is why he says you can't touch him. I'm assuming that. I don't know why they just didn't go that route instead of like having it morph from the orb. The first special effect they've had in the series. Everything else is practical effects up until that. So, but it's not effective.
You can blame Terminator 2 for that, because that came out 3 years earlier, and with all the gooey, gummy special effects, they started to use that, the morphing and all that. They started to do that after Terminator 2. Mm-hmm. And this definitely was doing a little bit of that, for sure.
Yeah.
For the most part, it was practical effects, though.
Yeah, right.
Which I hail them for that.
Yeah, I that's why I still say it's kind of questionable why they went through the whole Mike thing, morphing thing, when they could have easily gotten away with like cutting away or doing some kind of something else, something original.
Well, I mean I wouldn't say it looked horrible, like, oh my god, why did you do that? I thought it was actually okay. It was okay. They didn't overdo it, so that's what was good about it.
Yeah, no, it wasn't horrible.
It didn't work great, but it could have been way worse.
It didn't ruin Phantasm 3 for me, don't get me wrong. And what should have ruined the film for me but didn't was the inclusion of the Timmy character. Tim. Not Timmy, Tim.
Oh, the kid?
The kid, right, who was kind of put in as a replacement for Mike's character from the first film, so they had a younger character in there. And I should have been annoyed at like the young kid turned Wasteland Rambo, but Kevin Connors, who plays the kid, pulled it off well.
I got to be honest, I was... I actually texted you not that long ago. There was a TV show that we were watching where I just kind of went on like a tiny little mini rant where I said, kids in movies usually end up ruining the movie or the TV show. I feel like the acting is a lot weaker. It's never to the point of where it blows me away. But I was pleasantly surprised at this kid in this movie.
Yeah, I agree. I thought he handled his lines well, and he kind of he pulled off that whole now I'm an expert shot, and I had to bury my my parents are dead, but I'm moving on, and hey, let's join up. It's like,
yeah.
and that's why Reggie's such a cool character too, because he's not just like, what the fuck you mean team up? It's like, what kind of stupid night? Instead he's like, well, I don't know if it's the best thing, but maybe I could try. Just like lets them off easy. He's kind of cool with it. Reggie's smooth right up until a lady enters the room.
Oh yeah, when that scene happened, and he's like, kid, you can sleep in the car. I can only get the queen bed for the room, and what is happening with my motherfucking audio? Jesus Christ. I apologize to everyone. No. It's fine. Uh-oh. It's fine. It's just adjusting on its own when it shouldn't be. Whatever. So he's telling the kid, he's like, you got to sleep in the room, kid. And the kid's just kind of looking at him and then gets the gist. And it's just like, wow, Reggie wants to get laid. And he's going to let the kid sleep in the fucking car. What a fucking
cold or anything.
What a fucking dick.
Yeah, he's a lech. That's the great thing about Reggie. He's a complete lech. He's the same way in the second film too.
Oh yeah.
If you like Reggie in this film, you're gonna like the second film regardless, just because of Reggie.
Oh no.
Yeah. So what happens is like after Reggie teams up with Mike after Mike comes out of the coma, and they meet up with Mike. Jody shows up as the ball. There's some back and forth, and then the tall man kidnaps Mike, and so Reggie hits the road in search of the tall man to try to get Mike back, and that's when he runs into young Tim. That's the reason I went through that.
Yeah.
Just to get into that.
Well, earlier, the tall man and Reggie, they had a back and forth, and he pulls out like this. It's like a grenade, but it's like beeping. And he goes, I need him. I don't want him in pieces. He goes, that's the only way you're going to get him. And then he's just like, all right, I could wait.
Yeah, I will wait.
I will wait. And he did.
Yeah. And this film kind of sparks the whole question of why the hell is the tall man so interested in Mike to begin with? You know, like why does he want
he
Mike?
keeps telling him he's coming home.
Yeah, and then at the end they have that spoiler thing where in the mirror, and he's like, "What the hell's going on?" And he runs off. So, oh no. I haven't seen the fourth film, so I don't know what they do with that. It's not worth mentioning much here because it's really at the tail end. But there's the little side story too. Is as Reggie's going from town to town, he bumps into the how would you describe them? The three hoodlums.
Something like that, sure.
Just comic book character hoodlums.
I know.
Just with the gold chain, the older guy with the bad ill-fitting suit, Weasley a bit, then the big handsome guy with the gold chains and shit, and then the slutty girlfriend, trashy girlfriend. Let's not be rude.
Well, she's a little slutty later.
Actually, she was. Yeah, I take that back. She did.
She was very.
She did
slutty
dishonor
later.
herself.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. She was dead, but
which is even worse. Yes. But so they have a run-in. Reggie has a run-in with them, but then Tim actually saves him after he kills them.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
The little kid. He's got a frisbee with razor blades on it. This kid.
Yeah, that's the one I'm iffy on. It was basically Home Alone meets Mad Max or something like. He was basically the Home Alone kid, but just for real. Yeah, no, definitely, 100%. What did he say to the guy? He said something. The guy said something to him, and he goes, "Yeah, but not this." And then he pulls the frisbee out and he throws it and slices his neck open. He said, "This is real. This is the real. This is real. Oh. This isn't playtime. This is real." And the kid's like, "So's this." So, there it is. Thank you for remembering, because I couldn't. You're welcome. That's why I'm here, sir. Very nice. Don't do that. Please, please. Very nice. No. My wife. No. I'm gonna move on. Are you saying my wife's vagine hang low like wizard rope? You're saying my wife, she stampede and die? High five. Come on, smile. So every time Reggie goes to a new location, he meets a new sidekick. So after he tries to drop Tim off at there's an orphanage out of town for the kids of all the people who died in the town that Tall Man left behind, which I thought was bizarre. Yeah. It's like no government's getting involved in this shit. It's just like, I'm just watching over all these orphans now. So Reggie drops him off with the other orphans, and then he looks to give her a few $100s. Well, I mean, that's fair. I mean, he's asking her to take care of a kid. No, I know. But then the kid ends up in the trunk. Well, he still helped. Reggie's a good guy. Reggie's a good guy. I think he would have done that either way. Wasted all that money. Yeah, that's true. So next deserted town, in a mausoleum, he bumps into Rocky. Rocky and her friend. Yes. Oh yeah, no. Her and her friend are like robbing. Right. They're in there robbing it, or I think that's right. I don't think they actually say what they're doing in there.
But
they're probably the same thing as the other hoodlums, just like taking advantage of these dead towns, like looting them and stuff. So they try to rob Reggie, but then one of the orbs shows up and makes short work of her friend.
Yeah, her friend gets 86'd real quick.
But then Timmy shows up and shoots the hell out of the orb.
Yes. But not before Rocky does some sweet Bruce Lee moves with some nunchucks.
Oh, yeah, the nunchuck thing is
very, as soon as those nunchucks came out and she started flipping them around, I'm like, oh, shit. I was like, Don, what are you thinking, Don? Come on.
It makes me wonder if it was in the script or if after they hired her, she was like, oh, I could do I do like martial arts and stuff. She's like, oh, yeah, let's do this. I kind of hope it's the latter, because for me, that's more romantic filmmaking.
Yeah.
It's like,
And it wasn't a one-off. She uses those a few times through the movie.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well, I especially like when she hits it and the nunchucks, they break apart, and she's repairing them in the car, and they're talking about it. I'm like, dude, they're fucking nunchucks. Stop. You're pretty good with those things. It's like, shut the fuck up. Trying to get in her pants.
But we never see the Frisbee again. I mean, that should have come along for the ride, too. Yeah, the kid had the backpack.
It's true. That is 100% right.
I wanted to see that make a cameo. Second cameo.
Yeah.
Yeah. If the nunchucks are good enough for multiple scenes, I think the Frisbee should have had another shot. Even if it didn't work the second time.
Well,
he should have tried it when they came against the dead guys again, and that time he catches it. It would have been fun.
It would have been fun. But nunchucks, free. Frisbee, money. So, what?
Oh.
For her to use the nunchucks, it's practical. But to do the Frisbee, there is some special effects involved with that.
Oh, I got you. What you say, but they could have done it. That's all I'm saying.
Oh, they could have.
They could have done it. I could have done it without adding any more to the budget. I'm sorry.
Oh, you could have.
Not a budget. This is not a budget. It didn't have to. Never mind. Moving on.
Let's do that.
It's too late for me to influence the film. I must
yes.
Come to terms with that and get on with it.
This is the 30th anniversary of Phantasm 3. It came out in 1994. We're in 2024. It's 30 years old.
Oh, happy birthday.
Yeah. Maybe
God, I'm old.
Maybe they'll do
I saw this in high school.
Oh, yeah, 94. I graduated that year. No, you had graduated already. Didn't you?
Oh, no. No, you're right. I graduated in 92. You're right. This is after high school. All right. It's not as bad.
It came out the year I graduated.
You know what? I was thinking of part 2. I saw part 2 when I was in high school.
Yeah, I guess you were a freshman.
Yeah. Oh, God, I'm old. Anyway. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm right behind you.
Once they meet Rocky, they end up, with the final fight against the tall man, and really nothing is resolved at all.
No.
Which is typical for a Phantasm film. I'll be honest. You go in expecting it. I actually used the ending of the film in our opening.
Oh, I know. I saw that, and I'm like, and when I watched it, normally we're usually screaming. It's like, oh my God, look what they did. And I'm looking at it, I'm like, it doesn't matter.
No,
it really didn't matter at all.
If you know Phantasm, you know how this film's going to end. So it's not a surprise. It's going in blind. If you've never seen a Phantasm film in your life, that's not giving you anything away. You're even more confused going in than not. I've actually helped you enjoy the film because you're like, what the hell is this? Yeah, it never ends.
It's never over.
That's right. And the interesting, I did like the inclusion of the what my brain's shutting down. The cold water.
Oh, liquid nitrogen.
Thank you, liquid nitrogen. Yeah, cold water. I'm dead.
The cryogenic. The
cryo tank with all the heads and stuff.
And Reggie's like, look at these idiots. It's all the rage right now. Freeze their heads, and they think they're going to wake up 200 years in a new body.
Now that does exist. However, I'm pretty sure I'm pretty sure they don't just dump the heads together in giant vats.
No.
I feel like that's not the proper storage.
No, definitely not.
And the heads that were in there looked like they'd been left out a bit before they put them in. So
that's Don for you. He's like, I don't give a shit how it works. Just throw him just throw him in there with some water and some a fog machine. Just come on, trying to make a movie here.
But I mean, but at the same time, like I kind of wish they hadn't explained it. It was just, why he's got heads? I don't know. He's got heads. That's got a lot of heads. Okay, he's storing heads now. I wish they hadn't explained it like it was a real thing, because that made it a little worse. See, when the film tries to explain itself, it just doesn't make it.
Right. Yeah.
It's the one thing Don doesn't seem to have caught on yet. Is like the screwy stuff is great, but then he tries to actually explain what's happening, and that's when things get worse. I mean, what do we learn about the tall man? We really don't see any of that. We saw only just brief Jawas appearances.
That's in the beginning, and like in the shadows later. I mean, like it's really they don't show much at all. Mm-hmm. In the beginning, it was like that was kind of it, and then he shoots up into the tree, and like 4 or 5 of them fall out of the tree, and that was more for comedic relief than anything else. He was like, "Oh man!" And then he shoots up in the air. It's like a thump, 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 thump.
That's hilarious. I'm sorry. That was a hilarious scene.
It's hilarious. I loved it, but I'm like, there's no way you got that many with one shot.
No, obviously. It's again, it's stupid, but it's
still funny. They all fell
funny.
on top of each other. It's like, okay, one shot. They were all in one spot, but they were like 5-10 feet apart.
See, Don commits to the gag.
Yeah.
And that's why the gag works. That's why Phantasm works, because Don commits to it. So Jody's a ball now.
Yeah.
Okay. Now originally in my head, I thought of the first 2 films as like individual things, and then I thought to myself, well, I guess after the 3rd film they had a plan. But then I read trivia that said after making the 3rd film, Don said, paraphrasing, that he thought he'd completely used up any ideas he had, and if they ever make a 4th film, it's just going to be like me with balls again, because I have no idea what to do.
Now we got to watch the 4th film to see if that's true.
Yeah, so now I'm even more interested, because now it's like, okay, so he never had a plan. He just makes a film every now and then when somebody wants it, and every time he just pulls it out of his ass. I love it.
Yeah, well,
who knows what's going to happen?
The 4th film, I believe, came out in 1996. Pretty sure. A couple of years later.
Right. Yeah, and then there was another 10 years or so before the 5th one.
20.
20, yeah.
20.
There you go.
20 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, after 20,
Don was making Bubba Hotep and things like that. No, he was doing other things, but he didn't do the 5th film 20 years later. Somebody else did it. He got credit for writing, but it's probably just for characters, and that's it.
I was trying to see how old he is. Oh, there he is. Then he's
Don?
54. Yeah.
Don is 70. Or he will be 70.
Yeah, there you go. So he was when they made the 5th one. He's in his 60s or probably retiring or close to it.
He was 50.
Oh, just 50?
Oh, you mean the 2016 one? Yeah. The 2016 one. Yeah, it was only 8 years ago. He's 62. Yeah, he's probably he's not interested.
At that point, yeah. I mean,
here's the thing. They probably
get involved.
They probably didn't want him to do it.
Maybe a little column A, a little from column B.
Yeah, probably.
I mean, directing a film is a strenuous thing unless you're like, really rich and famous and have like 20 assistants and stuff. I mean, Phantasm films are low budget films. You're working on those. Everybody's working on those. Nobody's like, sitting in their trailer for days.
Well, 54. What? My God. I hate it so much.
Hate what?
It just my audio.
Stop.
My audio. I fucking
okay.
My audio.
Now, what do you think of the title, Lord of the Dead?
I mean,
it kind of works.
It does kind of work.
I didn't like it at first, but the more I think about it, it's like, I mean, he is going around stealing bodies. I mean, he is, he is the cemetery man. So yeah, Lord of the Dead kind of makes sense.
Well, I was kind of thinking, did he steal that from Clive Barker for Lord of Illusions because that movie was coming out the following year? But I was like, no, it's a year later.
No.
Probably didn't steal that, but well,
it's like I said, originally the title was supposed to be Phantasm, Lord of the Dead, because they didn't want people who hadn't seen the first two films to feel like they couldn't see it. They didn't want to advertise it as a third part of a trilogy.
Oh, okay.
So they kept the tagline when they went direct to video, though, or when they finally did their mass release. So it's Phantasm 3, Lord of the Dead. So I mean, no reason not to keep it, but that's the reason why they had a name like that in the first place.
Okay. Yeah, no. I mean, it works. I don't mind it. I didn't mind it.
Now, as a biased Phantasm fan, I'm obviously willing to rate this at a decent clip, but it's obviously not deserving of anything high.
Well, here's the thing. Isn't the film rated actually kind of high for a horror film? I think it's a 6 out of 10.
It's a 6.0 out of 10. I mean, it's
I was actually
high for a.
Well, listen, I'm okay with a 6. I enjoyed the film. I enjoy all the Phantasm films, but I was actually, because I didn't look at the score first. I watched it and then I looked at it. I was actually surprised it was so high. I really thought, I just like the dialogue, the way it's delivered, things of that nature. I was actually kind of surprised that it was a 6. I was kind of expecting it to be somewhere in the 5s.
I'm kind of with you. Yeah, this film gets a lot of respect just for being a Phantasm film, but again, it's not bad.
I enjoyed it.
It doesn't really drag too much. I do believe I saw part of part 4, and I think that one drags a bit. I could be wrong. I might be remembering something different. But I mean, they kept the pace going just like they did in 3. They made it a road trip. This is what they did with the second one too. They kind of made it a road trip film, which keeps everything moving. Yeah. It's smart filmmaking, and it was entertaining and fun. I liked it. I like the Phantasm films so far.
I mean, I've only ever seen the first one. Now I've seen the third one. Again, sorry, I've never seen the second one. I should see it.
And you know what? The films have a charm to them because they're not shoving it down your throat as anything like overly serious.
Right.
But it takes itself serious to the extent where, again, like he commits to the gag. There's no pullback. It's just full force, and he manages to pull it off.
Yeah, no, for sure. All right, so are we good with a 6?
I think a 6.
6. I'm fine with a 6.
It's a solid 6. It has the rating it deserves, which is surprising. I agree with you.
All right, 6 it is.
Now, how do you want to handle our challenge for next week? There's a couple different ways we can go.
Okay, so Scott and I were talking about reviewing the Ari Aster film Beau is Afraid. And then, of course, we can spin the wheel.
And we could also spin a 1960s wheel.
Oh, we're missing a film from the 60s?
Well, no, we're not missing a film from the 60s, and we don't have to. And I'm not really thrilled with the wheel. I feel like the film quality dropped drastically once we hit the 60s. But we've only reviewed 3 films that were made in the 60s.
Oh, so I see. To get more, sure, I get it.
Yeah, so like on the YouTube, we have playlists for the 90s, the 80s, and the 70s. I can't do one for the 60s. We don't have enough. We could do that. Right. So we could do that as well. But I'm open to anything. And then also, there's also The Joker and Megalopolis, both of which I'm eager to watch. Joker. I heard you already saw it.
I did see it, and I'm not going to give any spoilers or anything, but all I'm going to say is it is not as bad as everyone is fucking making it out to be.
Oh, I'm assuming that.
Well, no,
but it's still bad.
People are coming out and saying it's the worst thing they've ever seen, and this is horrible, and this and this and that, and it's nothing like the first film. They're all wrong. They're all wrong. It is nowhere near as bad as everyone is saying. It is not 30% on Rotten Tomatoes bad.
But
I don't think it's a good movie.
Okay, cool.
I don't think it's a bad movie. And the best way I can put it is it was okay.
All right.
And when we review it, because we'll get into that much, much deeper. It was okay.
So we have a few options then. So we have like Megalopolis or Joker, one of the new films, or we have Beau is Afraid, which I wanted to discuss with you in great detail, because whether it's on the show or not, because it's a film that's very open to interpretation, and I'm really becoming a huge fan of Ari Aster, and I want to talk to you about that movie. But we can also do the wheel, or we can do the 60s wheel. It's all up to you.
No, not all up to me. I don't want it to
But what are you feeling? What are you feeling? You feeling random, or do you want to go for something specific?
Well, I kind of feel like, I watched Beau is Afraid a week ago, and we got to wait another week if we were to review it. And I kind of feel like if we wait longer, I don't know. I think maybe we should do Beau.
Okay, let's do Beau then.
I think we should do Beau because it's still fresh in my head. And, I know we just bounce off each other. That's why we do this podcast. I know if I forget things, you're going to remember things, and vice versa and all that. So I think we should do...
Well, don't worry. Not only are we going to... I will rewatch it before as well, and I'm only halfway through doing slides. I'm going to have a lot of slides.
Okay.
So, but I think it'll be a long episode because I think there's a lot to discuss, and I'm really looking forward to unpack. We don't do a lot of deep
dive.
Yeah, we don't do many deep dives here as far as like getting into the symbology and all that stuff. But yeah, I'm in.
All right, let's do Beau next week. Let's do that.
All right, and then we'll play it by ear and see how we feel next week.
Yeah, no, I think that's great. I think.
All right.
I think it's the right thing to do. And then we'll either do 60s or we'll spin the wheel for the week after that.
Yeah.
All right. Let's go ahead and end the show then.
Praise the orb. Let's end this.
All right, everybody. Thank you again for listening to us. Again, episode 428 of Moviesucktastic. Go to our website at moviesucktastic.com. It's a brand new website. You can do everything from there. You can watch the show, or you can click on the link. It'll take you to YouTube, and you can watch the show. You can listen to the show right on the website, or you can download it. And you can do this from your portable device, tablet, phone, whatever you're using. The website works on everything. You can leave us voicemail at 908-514-4470. You can leave us email at themovieguys@moviesucktastic.com. Although I do recommend going to the website right now to send that email, because I don't get email otherwise, and I don't fucking know why. I really don't, and it's really starting to piss me off because all the code is correct. I'm going out of my fucking mind.
Calm blue ocean. Calm blue ocean.
What? Okay. Which ocean? Okay, tell me which ocean.
India.
Yeah, sure. Oh my god. You can go to our Facebook page, facebook.com/moviesucktastic, and you can see everything that we post there as well. You can download our podcast player at moviesucktastic.com/mst.apk. That was my fault. I hit the mic. Sorry. Or you can go and just download your favorite podcast player, and you can listen to the show that way. You can also hear the show on iTunes. And Scott has a Letterboxd account for us, letterboxd.com/moviesucktastic. You should check that out.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And, yeah. Do you have any words of wisdom, Mr. Wilson?
It's never over.
Come here, Boy.
Boy.
I love that they kept that. Like, that's kind of his, like, boy.
Oh, I mean, yeah. No, they you can't lose that.
No, for sure. All right, everybody. Next week, we will see you when we review Beau is Afraid. Well, not new, but the Ari Aster film from a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
Or last year. Was it last year? Last year. Really
I
good.
don't care.
I don't care. Anyway, we'll talk to you then.
Bye.
Bye-bye.